Imagine if China arrested a top Apple executive during an airport layover. We'd be freaking out, I think. That gives you a sense of the public reaction in China right now. I asked my colleague Carrie Allen what she's seeing. She monitors Chinese media for the BBC.
There's been a lot of very, very angry response from big newspapers, big media in China, very, very critical not of Canada but of the US, and very much saying that they feel that it's because the US is concerned about the growing supremacy of China. A lot of the media in China, they've not actually been talking about her position, suggesting it's to do with the finance because she's chief financial officer.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. I mean, they keep referring to Meng as Ren Zhengfei's daughter,
yes,
rather than explicitly mentioning her role, which is CFO of Huawei. So who is Ren Zhengfei?
He's the owner and creator of Huawei. So, I mean, it was almost a family-run business. He's the big owner, and she's in a senior role. She's his daughter. You know, people know him. They know that he's this big businessman in China. So they're linking it to kind of, a family scandal to do with him. But also, I think, it kind of encourages sympathy that this is a woman, this is somebody's daughter that has been arrested.
What have ordinary Chinese been saying specifically on social media that's really caught your eye?
Well, a lot of the comments, I mean, there's the point to the shamelessness of Donald Trump and talking about the US. There's a nice comment from one user saying that Canada is the dog's leg of the US because of this.
I saw that, yeah. I mean, this is not endearing Canada to China either, it seems.
No, not at all, no. And I mean, there have been frictions between China and Canada before, but this has almost escalated this. But a lot of the attacks been specifically on the US. But also, I mean, there's been comments calling on a boycott of Apple and wider US products. I mean, what will happen anyway in China is you'll see a lot of social media comments that are produced by what's known as the 50 Cent Brigade. These are people who are paid a small amount of money to influence commentary. And because media, like state-owned media, have been going so heavily on this story, you'll get a lot of people who will be supporting the government line and they'll be putting comments out about nationalism. And this almost influences the conversation. And I've seen this a lot before with international companies, this call on a boycott. But so some of the comments today, people saying that, you've got to throw away that Apple iPhone in your hand. You either love this country or you're a traitor.
Sounds like a kind of a form of trolling.
Kind of, yes. But in China, trolling is discouraged. So there's this whole propaganda term which is known as support positive energy online. So whereas in the West you'll hear a lot about trolling, you'll see a lot of negative commentary, a lot of negative news as well. In China, you'll get stories and there'll always be a positive kind of focus on them.
I mean, that positive energy seems to be trending toward a narrative where the U.S. is displeased with China's dominance in the nascent 5G technology market, and so they're arresting the CFO of the company that's dealing with that 5G technology. That is a pretty stunning charge.
What it seems more a case of, I mean, it's not just specifically the US. I've seen more and more increasingly over the years that I've been doing this role, an increased kind of antagonism almost against international companies, kind of basically saying that if this does escalate with the US, if it does go any further, that China can stand alone, it can rise above, and that the US can't think of itself any longer as being the number one power.
Carrie Allen, the BBC's Chinese media analyst.